sector in Lagos so that we can make transportation much more accessible for you and much more pleasant as well. You're welcome. This is Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives. It comes to you every Tuesdays from 9:15 through 10 o'clock, and it is courtesy of the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation. The whole idea is for you to have some of the latest things that are happening within the transport sector in Lagos so that you can appreciate transportation and you can maximize its use as well. You're welcome. My name is Victor Oteri. All right, so today we're going to be looking at transportation and matters arising. This time around, we're looking at it from the operational framework. We have a ministry, we have a department in the ministry which is saddled with the responsibility of transport operations. We'll be looking at what they do and how they do their business. And then we'll be touching down on some of the issues that relates to transportation, especially as it relates to your own movement from one location to the others. All that and much more will be part of the menu if you can keep us company from now through 10 o'clock. But first off, let's get back to the roads. We did tell you that most of the areas that we're covering are still looking pretty good this morning. If you're making that journey to the island, we can tell you the Third Mainland Bridge is still very, very good. It's a good access point for you to navigate through at this time. Ikorodu Road is also receiving with good flow as well. But of course, you need to watch out for some enforcement activities are going on around the Odo-Yalaro end. Victoria Island, currently, Marwa inwards Lekki is moving. It's a moving traffic being experienced there. Getting busy, approaching Lekki pedestrian bridge. This is due to high influx and, of course, alternation responsible. Lekki inwards the toll plaza, very encouraging as we speak. Toll plaza connecting Oriental. It's a moving traffic being experienced there. Oriental Hotel inwards Sandfield down to School Corner is busy at the moment due to high influx. And then we can say that School Corner heading towards BJ. And then 1000 Aki and Deshola down to Oniru, Kilimanjaro. Very encouraging as we speak right now. Traffic is gathering momentum from Ecobank down to Oniru, Kilimanjaro due to alternation at that point. It's an appreciable one. Talking about vehicular movement from Kilimanjaro heading towards Aki and Deshola. That's on the return journey back to Bonny Camp, looking good. Descending from Bonny Camp Bridge inwards Ahmadu Bello. It's a moving traffic as well. And then we can say traffic is getting busy, approaching some other locations within that particular corridor. That's what you have within the Victoria Island end. Let me see if you can still touch down on one or two more. Apapa axis, appreciable movement as well from Outer Wharf inwards Beja Suya, connecting Sunrise, and then Sunrise inwards Coconut, linking up with Tinkan first gate, and second gate is looking pretty good to go. Good movement as well from Liverpool Bridge and Liverpool underneath the bridge inwards Glaxo Junction. Connecting Niger is also good, while Niger inwards Wharf Gate linking up with the ports is busy. The return journey from the port gate inwards Niger heading towards Glaxo Junction, connecting Liverpool roundabout is looking good too. Waterside in and out, back to the roundabout, connecting Tinkan second gate is also looking pretty good. And then second gate inwards Tinkan first gate and Coconut, beautiful as well. Sunrise linking up with Outer Wharf, connecting Maltuoke is moving at a fast pace. So that's what you have within the Apapa corridor as well. So we'll be serving you more helpings as they come in from time to time. All right, then, so on the program this morning, I did tell you that we're going to be reflecting a whole lot on matters arising within the transport sector. Yes, there are lots of things that are happening. And of course, from the Ministry of Transport, it is the duty to also inform you on some of these things so that you can always track it and then you can make a good advantage of it. All right, so we'll be touching down on most of them. Let me bring to the microphone my guest who's been seated for quite a while. Engineer Olasukanmi Ojowuro is Director of Transport Operations with the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation. Nice to have you back in the studio, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And you?
Very, very good, too. So we are in the new year already. Let's just take some little time to dwell a bit on your area of coverage, your department, which is transport operations. How did things fare for transport operations in your department last year? How did things go?
Well, it's been challenging, but the ministry as a whole and the department have been able to muzzle whatever challenges that has come our way, and we are up to the task.
All right. As a case of reminder now, for those who might not really understand, transport operations, what do you guys do? What are your areas of coverage?
Well, simply put, the Department of Transport Operations implements the policies of the ministry and interacts with the other agencies of the ministry. And that extends beyond the ministry, the private sector, and the other layers of governance in Nigeria, the federal government,
All right,
and the local government.
So you interface with them all?
Sure.
All right. So operations, let's say services like the e-hailing, do they fall under your department?
Yes, one of the purviews, in the Transport Operations Department, we manage that space of e-hailing operators in the state. We have guidelines for them that they must comply with or conform with, and we ensure that we regularly, check on each of the operators if there is compliance.
All right. So let's talk about them. So how was it, and how's it been? E-hailing services?
Well, we all know that e-hailing is also another form of public transportation. It helps to reduce the vehicles we have on the road, because when people board or call for taxis, they do not necessarily have to put their vehicles on the road.
All right.
And it also eliminates the issue of parking, because if a vehicle, if I hail a taxi, it takes me to my destination.
Right.
The taxi is not waiting for me. It is also going to connect with other passengers that might need the service. So reduces parking, issues. Of course, the lesser the vehicle we have on the road, the lesser the carbon monoxide and other greenhouse gases that are related to air pollution.
All right.
So it really solves a lot of problems, and of course it empowers those who are operators. We call the drivers operators. It brings bread on their table. That is a form of empowerment.
So job creation.
All
right. So how many of them do we have at the moment? How many operators do we have that are in the e-hailing business in Lagos as we speak right now? Do we have them in sufficient number?
Yes, we have about 9 licensed operators.
9 of them?
Yes.
Okay. And they are meeting up to the specifications which the government has given to them?
Of course, if they do not meet up with the requirements or guidelines, they will not be licensed in the first place.
Yes, because I know at a point some of them were a bit recalcitrant. So have they all been able to enter the same scale now to say, well, this is government that's regulating, let's go according to the dictates of government? Have they been able to do that now?
Sure. The good news is that we've been able to get them to agreeing to comply, and of course they are complying, though we had initial issues with some of them that we had to go to the extent of enforcement, and thereafter we settled, and we moved forward, and all of them in that space are complying.
Let's talk about the vehicles now that they use for most of these e-hailing services. It appears a lot of them these days have challenges. When you pick up any of these e-hailing vehicles now, it's that some of them sometimes might not even be meeting up with good standards, so to say. So do you guys check them?
Well, in the mix that we have, it's not just the Department of Transport Operations that is involved in ensuring that the vehicles are okay. The VIs also play a role, and there are some documents that they need to have. Before they can assess or have those documents, they must have done their roadworthiness test. However, that does not mean that we do not have one or two or some vehicles that may not really be okay for transportation. But what we've done now, we had a meeting yesterday.
Okay.
We are making use of technology to now monitor, to now ensure that all the vehicles are, they are fit for that mode of transportation.
Okay, so now, technology is now being deployed?
Yes, please.
In what form?
Yes, the consultant will now have what we call vehicle ID. The vehicle ID, of course, would have the registration number of the vehicle license, and with that we can now track. And when we track, we can now synchronize with the VIS for them to do the needful.
Why is that necessary?
It's necessary so that all vehicles on that space, operating on that space, are roadworthy for commuting and for taking passengers from one point to the other.
Right. In terms of security, is there anything that the government is doing to also protect some of these e-hailing drivers?
Sure. The security necessary is not just for the e-hailing drivers. It's also needed for the passengers. And for that, part of the initiative we have is that we need I'll call it some credentials of the driver.
Okay.
Credentials of the rider. And because we are, tracking the movement from one point to the other, then if we see that a trip is not completed, of course, there might be issues. And if a trip is also completed, we have the credentials on hand. So if there are breaches, security breaches,
right,
or whatever, when the security agencies come, we can, share the information with them for investigation purposes.
All right, then. So that's about e-hailing. For those of you that have any questions that relates to that, just keep it in one hand. We'll get back to that. Let's switch a bit now to look at some other areas under your purview. Gated streets in Lagos. I know we discussed that extensively during the festivities, but this is something that requires more than one conversation. So let's dwell a bit on that. During that period, were Lagosians able to really observe the ruling or perhaps the law guiding gated streets in Lagos? Or what are your assessments?
Of course, in as much as we have those who are complying, of course we have pockets of those who refuse to comply. And for that, a week before the Christmas period, we carried out an enforcement of the communities or CDAs that refused to comply. And thereafter, we've received so many applications for existing gated streets and for those who want to have gated streets in their areas.
Right.
But our position is this: we know there are security challenges in the state.
Right.
However, it doesn't mean that we should throw caution into the wind. Sometimes when you are trying to solve one problem, you create other problems. Supposing you lock up your area and there's security threat, how would the security operatives reach your house? Supposing there's a health emergency, somebody's in labor and there's need for an ambulance to come pick such
a
person, how would the ambulance reach such a person, or somebody who has high BP and
right,
and lots more? If the fire engines come to quench a fire, they cannot access the area. So the whole essence is that in as much as some areas, not major roads, are allowed to install street gates, however, it must be within the guidelines set up so that we can all move freely.
So for those who might not really know what the guideline says on gated streets, what are we supposed to do if we have a gate in our street, for instance? What are we supposed to do?
In the first place, you shouldn't have gotten a gate or installed a gate without the input of the ministry. So the first thing to do is that if you conceptualize having a gate in your estate or whatever in your area, not on a major road or a feeder road, you have to come to the state, to the ministry, and there are guidelines. Guideline number 1: there's a fixed time that gate can be shut, not locked, but shut.
Okay.
And your gates must be open between the hours of 5 a.m. to about 11 p.m. because we have some considerations for some areas. Number 2, insofar as you have a gate, you have to have guards. You have to have people there to be at that gate 24 hours.
Okay.
So that whenever there are issues, these ones can attend to those who wish to enter or go out of the area. So when you feel like, or you've come to the conclusion that you need to have a gate, you come to the ministry, we go through the guidelines, then we visit. Should there even be a gate in the place, in the first place? Because if it's a major road, you don't need a gate.
Okay.
Because you'll be disturbing the ease of flow of traffic, which of course, tailgates when there's traffic and affects all of us in the state and makes movement difficult.
So for those places that installed gates, what did you do to them?
So for those who have installed gates, some of them who had already installed have come, and we are taking them through the process. For those that have installed gates without our approval and who have not followed the guidelines, we have been enforcing. And for even those who have done the needful in terms of seeking for approval, going through the guidelines, going through the process despite the due diligence, and have refused to conform with the guidelines, we have pulled their gates down too.
Oh, that has happened as well.
Sure.
All right. Well. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives is the program that you're listening to. And the Director of Transport Operations for the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation is here with me, Engineer Olasukanmi Ojowuro is our guest on the program this morning, taking you through the Ojo corridor. Very good movement is being experienced right now from Agbara Customs Checkpoint down to Federal Road Safety Corps Office. We can tell it's good at Janiki. There is moving traffic between Tipa Garage and Yanera. This is due to activities of the motor unions, as well as that's at Yanosashi. That is subsiding at the moment. Movement is okay from Afro Media down to Franklas on both the service lane and the main carriageway is looking good. Movement ascending Yanoba flyover inwards mile 2. It's moving appreciably well, while underneath the flyover inwards Igondo is also very good to go. Vehicular movement is very much in good shape from Vokes down to Trade Fair. That's on both the service lane and the main carriageway. There is moving traffic at Abule Ado on the main carriageway due to pedestrian crossing and, of course, activities of commercial buses there, while the service lane is still looking good. All through that corridor, no major breakdowns can be cited. You can join the conversation this morning as well on 091 5387 7127. That's 091-5387-7127 and of course 080-99-120777. All right then, so we talk about gated streets. Let's switch gears a bit, because I know one of the things that you've also talked about recently is the E-Call-Up System within the Lekki corridor and the integration of the commercial buses into that particular scheme. Talk to me. How is that faring, by the way?
Yes, let me start with the integration of the buses, commercial buses running on the Lekki corridor from Victoria Land to Eleko Junction. Based on the bus reform initiative, where we have planned and we are implementing that buses that will run on that corridor and on the main highway will be high capacity, or the least that we would allow is a medium capacity bus, so that the small ones, the what we call Korokwes, will be limited to the inner
roads,
inner arterial streets.
Okay.
So but we would have to capture all the buses, whether it's Korokwe running in the inner arterial roads or the ones running on the highway, in a kind of net. One, the vehicles must be road worthy.
Okay.
As we speak, we have about 8 operators that have been considered for that project, who have met part of our requirements. Their buses are undergoing inspection.
All right.
Because the buses must be okay. Now, concurrently, we are also interviewing and checking the drivers to have they gotten a driver's license. Do they have a LASDRI card, that is the Lagos Drivers Institute card? They should have that, because that is part of the requirements for drivers who are plying Lagos roads.
All right.
Part of what we're doing also is to ensure that these vehicles have the necessary documents, the vehicle license, the parking permit, the roadworthiness. So we have, a kind of collaboration amongst all the agencies in the ministry. We're doing a kind of one-stop shop. So when your vehicle comes, the vehicle is inspected, somebody's checking the driver, and the agency, MVA, Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, is also there to ensure that the vehicles have their papers. So what we're doing now is that first we check we check all I've said, the vehicle, the driver, and the documents, and we let them know what is lacking. Then in a month's time, you come back with your fleet. So we schedule dates for different operators to bring in their fleet, and we check, let them know what is missing, and for them to do the needful. And thereafter, we will now, commence the program.
All right. Okay, then 080-99-120-777. That's the numbers. 091-5387-7127. Those are numbers that you can use to connect with us this morning. If you want to have your say on the program, you want to speak with the Director of Transport Operations, he's here, and of course, he's here to respond to any of your concerns as well. We're talking all things transportation this morning, and of course, he's here to take your questions as they come in. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. How does the system, talking about the Lekki system, how does it ensure compliance of truck drivers and other road users? You didn't put your name? Okay, so compliance, how will it ensure that?
Well, Last Mile is there to ensure compliance, and we're talking of two different things. One, I've spoken about the harmonization of the commercial buses, on that corridor. Now, the other one is the E-Call-Up System.
Okay.
Simply put, is the scheduling of the movement of trucks in and out of that corridor. We have the Dangote refineries, we have Lekki Deep Seaport, and we have other entities that does haulage on that axis. So if we just allow things to work without putting control measures, there will be chaos, and we don't want the chaos that's we've experienced in Apapa and Tinkan area to occur over there. Is
it operational yet, the E-Call-Up system in Lekki?
Everything is set.
Is set.
We would commence enforcement anytime from now.
Oh, okay.
Because we need to make some people do what they should do, and the only way we can do that is by enforcement.
All right.
Because already we have the parks where the trucks would have to, go and park before being called to their final destinations. The app is ready, and we have everything set, and all the entities there, as I said earlier, Dangote refineries, Lekki Deep Seaport, Lekki Worldwide, they have keyed into the program.
All right.
And it's for the trucks now to get their RFID tag. So let me quickly run you through how it works.
Yes. So tell us, what's the process?
For example, I want to get a container from Lekki Port. I have a truck. I can't just drive down to that area. I have to log into the app. I log into the app. The app confirms if I have that order. If truck with so number is scheduled to pick a cargo, and the driver's name.
Okay.
So if it is confirmed, the app will now direct me to a park where I will first go before I'll be directed
to come into the park to come pick the cargo. All right. This one.
However, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
However, the truck must have what we call RFID tag.
So there must be a tag.
The tag must be on the truck, because without that tag that interacts with the barrier at the truck park, you won't be able to go in.
Okay.
So, and there's also a barrier at the final destination. So everything must interact.
Right. Okay, then let me see. Take some calls and, of course, some reactions as well. 080-99-120-777, 091-5387-7127. Hello there, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is last man manager Ojowuro from Akobon, Eko-Bridge End.
All right, go ahead.
Like we have earlier reported construction and rehabilitation work are going on at by NEPA, Eco Bridge by NEPA, and was joining Akpogbon end. The traffic emanating backward Costain end. But I assure you, our men are very much on ground at that location. Because of motorists coming behind, I see a little bit of traffic. So nothing to worry about. It's just a moving one at that end.
Okay.
Just to quickly update you this.
All right. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So the Akpongbo end did hear from the traffic manager there. It's receiving attention as well. This one says, good morning. It is a good initiative from the Lagos State government. So what are the key success recorded since the system's launch? John Chidi is sending that one in. John Chidi, I can say it has not been launched. Am I correct? The Lekki E-Call-Up System.
It has been launched.
It has been launched?
But, it's in phases.
Okay. So John is asking, what's the success rate? So far, so good.
Well, the success rate is that for now, the entities that we want to serve, that is, when we talk about entities, I'm talking about Dangote refineries, Lekki ports, and whatever have, bought into this project.
Okay.
And we already have the satellite truck parks that have been, invested in by individuals, by the private sector. They are set.
Okay. So
and some of the truckers are coming to get their RFID tag on their trucks because they know that when enforcement commences, they will not be able to go into any of those parks if they have not booked and if they've not gotten RFID tag to direct, their movement with technology.
All right. This one says, are there plans to expand the E-Call-Up system to other parts of Lagos? If yes, what is the right frame? Alaja Nofisat from Oshodi. Oh, what's the time frame rather? Alaja Nofisat from Oshodi. So, do we have plans to expand that beyond Lekki to other parts of Lagos?
Of course. The E-Call-Up system is particularly, for haulage purposes. So, if there are areas in Lagos too that we have issues with, congestion or the movement of trucks in and out of a particular corridor, of course, we extend the E-Call-Up system so that, we don't just want a repeat of the Abapa and environs, the experience, the environmental nuisance, the depreciation of property, and other nuisances. We don't want a repeat at the Lekki area and wherever. So if there is need, we will do. But if she's talking about the harmonization of buses along the Lekki Epe corridor, of course, we're doing that. That's phase one.
Okay.
That is integrating with the bus reform initiative that our sister agency is championing, that is Lamata. So that particular harmonization of bus operators along the operations along the Lekki Epe corridor is done in line with the bus reform initiative of Lamata. And as we speak, Lamata is also commencing the infrastructure requirements for 8 quality bus corridors, 8 QBCs all over Lagos. So some corridors have been selected in the state, for that, phase. It is for that purpose.
Let's talk a bit about the unions. Are they under your purview as well, the unions?
Sure.
The transport unions?
Yes. Part of my purview is to ensure that we manage all unions that fall under the transport space.
You mean it in Lagos here?
Yes, please.
So what's the latest with them? Because I know before now they've always had one or two issues with rival unions, inter-union rivalry and all of that. The issue of the unions always causing traffic as well. Instead of doing their thing at the garages, they come to the roads collecting their tickets and all of that. Ticketing their members, and that adds to the mix. So what's the latest with that?
Well, we still had a meeting some days ago, specifically I think it was on Thursday. If you noticed, there has not been issues with rivalry in the last maybe 6 months in Lagos. It's been peaceful, whether it's with the National Union of Road Transport Workers or with Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. It's been, kind of peaceful. and that can be attributed to the understanding, the collaboration that we have with the unions. And we are discussing, it's gradual. The unions have done a lot, in ensuring that, the challenges caused by some guys who go on the road to collect monies, especially that of haulage.
Right.
If you go from my two to
to Apapa, to the port.
To the port now, you can't find people, stopping.
You mean all those extortion points they've been dislodged?
Those extortion points have been dislodged. And from my two towards Ijaniki also. So we're working with the unions, and we've come to an understanding that we do not want people there. However, because of lack of garages, parks, what we're doing is that we are looking at areas where we can, acquire and be able to make good use as a garage or park.
All right. Okay, so there's an area I would like you to attend to. Areas like Yanosashi, Yanoba, all those corridors. I think your team will need to visit those locations, because a lot of times when we get the reports, it's always a case of members of the motor unions doing their thing on the road, also adding to the mix in terms of the traffic that is built up within that corridor. So maybe you need to visit that location for more inspections. Is that correct?
Can I say something?
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, sometimes it is not just about the unions. Okay. And it's not just about transportation.
Oh, so
there are security implications too. So if, it's not just, there are some thugs, there are some criminal elements who live in some areas, and they are warlords, and, they take over the roads in the area.
At that location.
Of course, we are working with the, security agencies to, curtail that.
All right.
So it is just beyond transportation. There are issues with, security.
Let's take this home this morning. So what's your message this morning as we round up the program? What's your message to Lagosians as relates to transportation, especially in the year 2025?
Well, for all Lagosians, we appeal to you that let us abide by the guidelines, the traffic rules, and all that we need to do to ensure that movement is with ease, it's safe, it's secure. And for Gate Street especially, please don't just put up gates anywhere in the state. Come to us, we'll guide you. There may not be need for that gate. And for those in the transport sector, especially the operators, the government has a lot for you. So just ensure that you work with the state so that we can move people from one point to the other freely. And for private car owners, please obey traffic rules.
All right, then we'll leave it at that for now. Engineer Ojowuro, it's always a thing of joy having you in the studios. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you too, I'm grateful.
All right, so on the program, Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives, we looked at transportation and matters arising, and Engineer Olasukanmi Ojowuro is Director of Transport Operations. He's been able to take us to the classroom this morning from the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation. We have to go. The program has been produced by Temidayo Anthony. Also in the building as well, Favor Moma, and to our social media team, Okpayemi Shodunke, not forgetting Afe John. All right, Benita Olame also in the building as well. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle, and how can I forget the Director of Public Affairs for the Ministry of Transportation, Bolanle Ogunlola. Thank you so much for working tirelessly behind the scene for this program to be on stream this morning. All right, so next Tuesday, Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives make a return by 9:15. But till then, I'm Victor Oteri. Have a great day. Bye.